Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we are back in the she shed and we're going to be working on our cabinets for my countertop space and crafting station. We're going to be putting on the siding, taking out the hardware, painting these black, and hopefully putting in some gold hardware as well. So if you're excited for this video, give it a big old thumbs up and make sure you subscribe so you don't miss another video.
So we went ahead and attached the side panels to these cabinets off camera. We just used some spray adhesive and some small picture nails with a nail gun, and just went ahead and attached those. Unfortunately, the pretty side of this paneling had a sticker on it, so I used the old hairdryer hack, heated up the sticker to heat up the adhesive so that we could peel them off nice and clean. Once that sticker was off, I just used a pad and some nail polish remover to get off what's left of the adhesive. You could also use Goo Gone, but I didn't have any, so I just used some nail polish remover. Next thing you're going to want to do is remove your cabinet doors and your drawer faces from your panels. I just took a regular old screwdriver, unscrewed the screws, and used a plastic bag so that I wouldn't lose any pieces, and just pulled them off. For this project, I just got the Valspar cabinet and furniture paint from the store in tricorn black with a matte finish. This small can was enough to cover, I believe, 100 square feet is what the lady told me at the store, which is more than enough for these cabinets. So I just used a small foam roller that was made for cabinets and a small paint tray. Once I was set up and ready to go, we just got to painting. For the front part of the pantry, I just went ahead with the foam roller and covered as much as I could on the sides, the top, bottom, and the insides of the trim. I didn't take the drawer out. It was a little difficult for me and I wasn't going to be able to get it back in, so whenever I dripped, I just grabbed a paper towel and wiped it off. When I got to the bottom, I realized I had some sawdust in there, so I just grabbed a sticky tacked cloth and started wiping it out. I really hate how that stickiness feels on my hands.
Okay guys, so this is what it looks like with one coat. This side is probably about 50% dry. I've got the outside trim painted except for like around the hardware here because I didn't want to take this off. I wasn't 100% confident I could get it back on. So I'm going to go back in with the brush and do the around these corners and around the hardware by hand. This side I just did, so it's still wet and a little glossy. Just to trick you guys, this is actually the bottom. This is actually the bottom of the pantry because we cut it a little bit shorter to fit under this ledge over here. So I didn't go all the way up because this is actually going to be cut. As you can see, it's taller now than the rest of the pantry. So that's going to be cut. And up here you can see how well the paint took on the sticker, which I was right. It didn't exactly cover the right way I was expecting, and it did leave like a ledge. Like you would be able to tell there's a sticker there if I left it there. So we're gonna let this dry and I'm gonna move on to the drawers over here. For the drawers, I just went ahead and moved them off the rails and set them to the side so that I could start painting the side of these cabinets. Ideally, you're going to want to remove the drawer faces from the drawers to make this easier on yourself to paint.
For the bottom of the cabinet, I was just going to go back in with the regular hand brush and clean it up with the roller later, so I left that part blank. For the front of the drawers, I just went in again with the rolling brush. I wasn't super worried about how clean this is going to look or all my corners here because they are going to be covered with the drawer faces.
Okay, so this is what they all look like with one coat of paint. They're all pretty much dried to the touch right now. I'm going to go ahead and do our second coat, and then I'll come around with the handheld brush and touch up the little spots, the edges, and we'll start on the drawers and cabinet doors.
I started the cabinet doors. I just went ahead and wiped them down again with the tack cloth to get off any dust and dirt that I might run into. I also went ahead and put them up on these little pegs to get them off of the mat so that I could flip them over and do the side edges easier. I then went in with the regular brush and got all of the tight corners. Once all the fine corners were painted with the brush, I just went back in with the roller, hitting the panels first and then the sides and edges. For the drawer faces, I had run out of little pegs to actually elevate them up, so I just went ahead and painted what I could that wouldn't touch the tarp. And then when I went back to do the second coat, I flipped them over and got the spots that I missed. For the back of the drawers, I just went in again with the regular brush and painted. I wasn't super worried about how this was going to look because it is the back of the drawer. I just wanted it to be black and match the rest of it, just so it wasn't so obvious that it wasn't painted.
Alright, so this is what everything looks like, finished with 2 layers of paint. For some reason, the cabinet doors dried sticky. So like when I flipped it over to paint the back side of this, it picked up some like nicks and dirt from the cloth that I have here on the floor. So I am going to touch up the cabinet doors after I rehang them. The drawers, though, even though it supposedly said they were ready to paint and you didn't have to sand or prime or anything like that, they are really rough. So I feel like they should have been sanded beforehand, but it's a little late now unless I want to repaint. But so hopefully I can either seal it in, make them smooth, or when I install the hardware, it won't really matter. These are still kind of sticky too. I guess it's the paint's not 100% dry, even though it's been about 24 hours. But everything's together, ready to go. So now I'm just going to hang the doors back on and we'll start putting in the hardware.
I actually had more trouble than I thought I would when I hung these back on. I had issues getting the brackets to be flush against the door like they originally were. I ended up stopping the camera just because I was getting so frustrated and having such a hard time. I eventually figured it out and got them all back on and to hang straight. It just took me longer than I had thought. To install the hardware, I just found the center of each of the drawers and drilled a hole. Once I had gotten all of the holes drilled into the cabinets and started to install, I found out that my screws that came with the hardware were actually too short, so I ended up having to stop the project to go back to the store. And there we go. There is the nice, pretty gold hardware finally installed with the proper length screws. I just had one cabinet on each side of the countertop, there are 6-foot long countertops joining in the corner, and then I had the pantry up flush against the counter on my right side for my fabric storage with some nice pretty gold handles. Ta-da! These are my new cabinets. I have my gold hardware and it's done. I'm so ready to start putting all my stuff away and reorganizing and getting our she shed underway. But so what I kind of learned with this, even though these cabinets were branded, ready to paint, like ready to go, I definitely, if you guys try this, I definitely recommend checking your drawer faces, seeing if you need to sand them, and don't be like me and go all the way through your project, get to the very end, drill your holes, and then find out your screw for your hardware wasn't long enough. So I had to go back to the store, get new screws, but it worked out in the end. I am planning on putting some contact paper down here, probably some white marble to match the countertop that I have up here. I did end up touching up some spots along the cabinet. The stickiness when it had dried, we figured out was related to the humidity in this room. So I did end up getting a dehumidifier for in here just for future projects, and it's just gonna help in general anyway. It does feel a lot better in here now that I have this dehumidifier. So yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video, give it a big old thumbs up and hit the subscribe button down below. Help support the channel, help us grow. We're doing amazing and let's keep it up. Stay tuned to the channel and I'll show you, eventually I'll give you guys a big old tour once I get everything done in the she shed of our new studio. But until then, I'll see you next time. Bye!